Howdy, y'all. How y'all been? And welcome back to the Zulu Cast Episode 5 Habit Edition. I am your host, Alan, and I am here today with my co-host, Shane.
You're
Max,
What's up?
Leo,
Hey.
Hitten.
Hi.
These last 2 weeks, we had very specific objectives. We went into war, and we decided to be men, women, and they-thems of discipline, work ethic, self-control. So what we had did was we all picked 3 select habits we would do every day. We challenged ourselves to complete those habits no matter what. 14 days.
Oof.
Now, some of our hosts aren't here. Creek's not here. He hates you guys. He doesn't care about you.
Fuck you.
Creek hates you, and he values school, in university, in meetings more than you loving, adoring fans. Mia's not here because she hates you.
And she's cap.
Boo! Mia's cap. But unlike Creek, Mia did care about you enough to give me a brief rundown of her experience with the habits. If I remember correctly, Mia's habits were journaling, praying, and socializing. And the socializing habit basically meant she had to go speak to one new person a day, at least one, and after each interaction, she had to give herself a positive affirmation about said interaction. So here's what she told me. I haven't even read it yet. I'm going to read it right now for you guys, freestyled. She said it was solid for the first few days, but then I forgot to do one habit. She said usually journaling throughout the whole 2 weeks. And now, even now, I did keep, so she kept some goals in mind, guys. She said she kept some goals in mind, and she became more aware of who she's interacting with. And she said for her praying, she started just reading the Bible instead of praying, because I guess she had trouble praying. Mia only lasted 3 days, and then Mia failed the rest of the days and gave up. There was some exterior shit going on in her life, but we'll get on it early or later, earlier, midday, next year, in the future, next millennium. Mia's cap. Mia could have done it, and she didn't exert the willpower to do it because it was easier not to do it. And that was Mia's experience doing the habits. But anyways, we're going to get back to the go-getters, the people who went above and beyond to do what the fuck they know they should be doing. So guys, we're all going to say what our habits were. Then I'm going to give you the floor to communicate your experience with your habit. Shane, take us off.
Yeah, so my habits were... What were my habits? Hold on. So I had a socializing habit, the same one that Mia had. I had to walk 15 minutes every day, and I had to write a song every day.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, they were challenging. I think the hardest one was definitely writing a song every day. No, okay, that's a lie. Well, no, that was definitely the hardest one. Socializing habit was difficult, but it was easier because I'm so extroverted that talking to new people was like second nature. The affirmation part was difficult, and then walking every day just became like kind of a habit on its own. I just go on walks and listen to music. And that was kind of a vibe. So, those were mine, and I had a pretty good experience with all of it. It was fun. Yeah.
Did you hit your habits all 14 days?
Heck no. No, I started becoming lackluster on which one was it? It was I think it was the socializing one was easy. The affirmation part was hard, but I talk to people all the time, so like I said, that was nothing. The writing a song a day one, I think I missed 2 of, and then I can't remember the walk 15 minutes. I definitely missed 2 of.
How did you miss the walking for 15 minutes one?
How did I do that? Because a lot of it was very much of fighting to get out of bed. So usually, because I work full time, my brain's like lay in bed all day and then an hour before work I'll get ready and go to work. So I like try to do it. I didn't want to count any actual activity that I usually get, and I walk all the time at work, but I didn't want to count that. So I was like, I want to actually wake up, get out of bed, and go outside and walk. So, but it was definitely like I missed that because just didn't want to get out of bed. So
Yeah. When you
yeah.
did walk, did you notice a change in the way that you felt throughout the day? Did it have any effect?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it necessarily had. I don't know if it had the effect that I don't know if the intention of the habit was for. Like, yeah, I felt active and stuff, but it more the bigger effect it had on my life was forcing me to get out of bed earlier, which is something I've been trying to do for forever. Like, literally, I think one of the best things people can do in the morning is wake up, you know, go get some exercise and take a shower and just go about your day because it definitely changes the whole mindset you have for the rest of the day. So it definitely did that for me. It made me, I feel like I got more done throughout my days and stuff. It changed the framework of how I interact with my days. Um, so yeah, it was definitely a positive. I think the song one was probably the most negative because I just started getting lackluster with them. Like I just write
Yeah.
really trash songs, but like, okay, it's a song. But I did write some cool ones. I have a song that I don't know what I'm ever gonna do with it, but I wrote a song called Archetype, which is about how people perceive uh, people perceive Jesus to be uh, people perceive Jesus to be an archetype of like the purest or like best standard of humanity, and I feel like how like that is such a beautiful thing for a person who believes in God and stuff like that. So a song of just like even the world knows how great you are, but I wish they could see more. I think it's like one of the lines in it. So
Yeah. Did your Christianity play like any part in the way that you interacted with your habits? Meaning, did you ever think like did you ever have thoughts like, oh, like the person I would be if I did complete these habits? This is the type of person God would want me to be, or some shit.
I think definitely for the walking because of the mindset it put me in for the day. I know a lot of Christians, and the way my mind state's kind of moving is like laziness in and of itself. Laziness and procrastination can be seen as sinful. And so to get up in the morning and just go on a walk and get my day started with a better, healthier framework, yeah, no, it was definitely way more of like where I wanted to be at as a person. Um, so yeah, there was that. Um, I'm trying to think of what else. I think with the song one, kinda, but I also just felt pressured to write the song one, yes, because I was writing down thoughts I had, and there's probably a high value in that because I think God is caring for my perception of my thoughts. But I feel like I was so lackluster with it because I just got lazy with it. Like, it almost got to a point where I was like, these thoughts aren't interesting to me. But some of like the ones that were, I definitely was more heavily invested.
Mhm.
At least when it came to lyrics, I wrote in many different ways. At least I consider I wrote like not like producing instrumentals, but I wrote riffs for my band and stuff like that. I wrote songs for my rap stuff, and I even just wrote songs like with melodies in my own head and stuff that I don't know what I'm gonna use it for. But I use that more as a challenge just to be creative. And so in that aspect, yeah, because I think to be creative is a offspring of the creator. So
Yeah, okay. So I have an overarching perception that leads into a question with the way that you approached your habits or how it like what your relationship to your habits were. But the question that I'll ask before that, before my big question, is why you said when you were socializing, a part of the socializing habit was to say a positive affirmation. The one I gave you as a model was to tell yourself that the interaction was 100 out of 10 and to tell yourself like what was good about the interaction. And the reason that I would advise that for anybody who wanted to practice the socializing habit was just so you could get to a point where you're beyond rejection and you're also just beyond reaction in general and you're instead enjoying the energy of communicating with another person. It makes like it I would say touches you with the like bigger person than yourself in an interaction and not being reactive to the other person. It's weird because you would think like a lot of people get anxious in socializing because they want to make the other person feel good. And I'm saying you need to get outside of yourself when you talk to somebody. And I feel like somebody who is socially anxious might have a problem with that because they're like, well, I am being beyond myself. I'm trying to make the other person feel good. I'm thinking beyond myself. But like, really, what you're doing when you're quote unquote trying to make the other person feel good is get little validation hits off of them. Like, oh, I made him feel good. I did it. I did it. So it's like it's still a validation trick. You don't actually get beyond yourself in an interaction until you're actually enjoying the energy of said interaction. So that's an interesting thing about it. Why did you personally struggle with the affirmation aspect of socializing, even as an extrovert?
I think I struggled because at first I was like, at first my understanding of it was, I think I confused being confident with being intriguing. And what I mean, not that they're, mutually exclusive, but I think my idea of how I first went about it when purely talking to strangers was like, um, so I'll explain like this. The first stranger I think I talked to, I don't know if it was the first one or like a few days in, but was at a gas station. And I was waiting in line to get a water bottle, and a person had a very, sensory older person type response. I was like, this line's taking forever. And I remember just saying something like, yeah, it's almost as crazy. I said something like, it's almost as crazy as these gas prices, which wasn't outlandish, but for
No.
me, yeah, for me, that's like super like I said it in a very trolling voice. I was like, yeah, almost as high as these gas prices, right? And
Yeah.
you know, we had, but like I could tell they resonated with it, and so afterwards I walked away like, that was a cool little interaction, and so my brain justified it by those means, and so at first that was the difficulty, and then afterwards, like as the day was going on, and we had a conversation midway through, um, I started to like relay back and not be. I feel like that was outlandish for me because it wasn't something I really met, and I was just trying to say like create like stuff so people would like it or whatever. I started reducing it to things I was more confident in,
Right.
and that was the hard part because I had yet to find stuff I was really confident in. And so what I mean by that is like things I knew I was passionate about, I would talk about because I knew if I was confident enough in it and validated myself enough in it, I wouldn't care for the other person's response. But I was consciously still scared about their response. So after a while, it was like at first when I first started being confident, I was like, yeah, that was awesome. I'm happy. Like I enjoyed saying it. But after a while, it was just like, wait, I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but did they? So like it kind of like backpedaled back into how I felt in the beginning. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was just definitely difficult for me.
So when you would get a positive response, because one of the core things that me and Leo talk about habits is accessing your winner effect, which is basically like you do something every day and then you celebrate you doing that. And this does two things. It A makes you enjoy doing that thing because you're correlating it with a positive emotion in your body. Two, it self initiates your own momentum without other people needing to celebrate your achievements. So most people would not feel good about working out until they've met their ideal body and now they're attractive to other people. Or they wouldn't feel good about making music until they finished a song, perfected it, and now other people like it. Essentially, they don't access their winner effect until other people celebrate them. So we kind of talk about self celebration and getting into the winner effect. When we do get in the winner effect, we notice ourselves thinking more clearly, being able to enjoy things, and having very little or next to no brain fog. And I guess you could just say being more present. When you got that mini winner effect that comes with socializing with a stranger and getting a positive reaction, did you notice yourself accessing a winner effect? Did you notice yourself thinking more clearly after that or behaving more fluidly?
Yeah, 100%. I think the most fluid one was There were two interactions in specific that I thought were great. There was one where, and I think they were great for different reasons. One, because I accessed the winner effect off. If the winner effect in and of itself is specifically just my own mind state, then one of them didn't access and one of them did. But if it's the idea of just being within that effective winner or kind of like validation, one of them was by self and one of them was by a transactional type of expression. And what I mean by that is like, so one of them was I had said something to a girl and we ended up having a whole day conversation through like Snapchat about it. But I could tell that I was only like hype about it because she had given me she had like, I had said something like, if unicorns are real, what will we call unicorns? Because they can't be called unicorn. Or if unicorns are real, what will we call them? Because they can't be called unicorns because unicorns aren't real. And so we had a whole day long conversation about it. And I think I was more happy that she entertained it versus me being confident in what I was saying. But there was another conversation that I said in front of you where you could tell I was really happy. And it was the mashed potatoes thing. I don't even remember what I said. I just remember being in the moment and just saying how I felt about something that had happened throughout my day. And then that person responded back to me and like double texted me and wanted to keep the conversation going. And but that wasn't my point of validation. So for the rest of that conversation, I just kept saying stuff that like I enjoyed. And that was the much better feeling than the other situation. Does that make sense? I don't.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, I definitely accessed it. And I like totally agree. It's the more authentic, like or I shouldn't say authentic. Well, definitely the more authentic, but the more congruent. Yeah, feeling.
It's really revealing on how we wait for permission to be ourselves, unknowingly at that.
Yeah.
So my overarching question for you before we transition is: walking was hard for you because you wanted to just lay down and wait for work, just lay down until work starts. Socializing was hard, not because you're an extrovert, for the affirmation part, introducing a statement of reward to yourself was the difficult aspect. Writing a song was hard because of the days where you weren't inspired and kind of felt like you were pushing out a song just to push out a song. It seems like an overarching theme for you. What was hard was breaking the matrix for yourself. It was simply hard proactivity. It seems like proactivity in general feels unnatural to you, feels foreign to you, because you usually don't do things unless that nerve is within you to go do that thing. And that's a popular sentiment among NFPs. I believe this to be a success ceiling. We've talked about this. I'm sure you believe this to be a success ceiling as well. Mm-hmm. And I would say for you, this has been a process of confronting that story that you tell yourself of, if I don't feel like doing it right now, then it's not authentic or real for me to do. And I'm not going to do what's not authentic or real. I'm not going to force it. Do you feel like you've conquered that story within yourself at all over these last 14 days?
I think I'm still conquering it. I feel like I've definitely made progress. I feel like I have found I found a better basis than I don't want to say authenticity because I think that's a great basis, but I would say like justifying my action through authenticity versus justifying my action because it's what's best for me. And so that's definitely the state I kind of like, I feel like I'm in now. I'm better at knowing that like, hey, there are things like, just as I don't feel like doing something doesn't mean that it's not good for me it's not good for me if I do it. So I think this is a big success for me. People, even people around me were like noticing. My mom was like really proud. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, definitely a huge success.
Yeah, it's about like resonating. I think basically the solution is to resonate with what's good for you. Because then if people be like, I don't resonate with this because it's bad, but it's like, do you actually resonate with laying in bed for 7 days, beating yourself up in your head because you're laying in bed for 7 days? Do you actually resonate with that? Or are you just justifying the inactivity that's comfortable for you?
Yeah. No, like that was. I think that was a question I even asked myself midway through. So yeah, no, that's a very real thing on the idea of like uh my actions and the justifications for them. So, you know, I like that thing on like, do I need permission to be myself? Because I think a part of being yourself is doing what's best for you. So
Yes, sir. Okay, clap it up for Shane. Yes, sir. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Shane.
shout
thank
out
you,
Shane.
thank
Boom.
you, thank you.
Very
Okay.
admirable.
Next man up. Go ahead,
Is that me?
sir.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
you.
Okay. So my 3 habits were nofap, meditate for 5 minutes a day, and then also listen to a chapter of a book. So and
Which
then the
book
book,
was that, sir?
levels of energy.
Go on.
So for like I going into this, I was like, damn, I feel like this is gonna be pretty easy. Like I'm gonna be able to complete all my goals. It's not gonna be much of a problem. Like I like meditating. I mean, I thought going into it, the most challenging one would be like the listening to the book. Um, Only because like I feel like in my head I would build that up to be just like a tedious task. Like I don't know why, but I feel like going into it, that's what I'd envisioned the um but actually what the first one that I broke was nofap, which was the most shocking to me because usually it's like not how I am. Like that's not something that's like super important to me.
You turned into an animal, bro.
No, for real though, for real. And like ever since the beginning of this, it hasn't stopped either. So it's like I don't know what flip switched, but yeah. So then I kind of like slipped up like literally the first day with nofap, and then I was like, I'm just gonna chalk another day at the end, and then I was good for a few days, and then I think I broke my nofap thing, and then that led to me like uh, dropping all the other ones, and kind of. So it really just kind of I fell off with one, and then the rest.
Followed.
What's up?
The rest followed after you broke the one,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start short and sweet. Let's start simple.
Hmm.
Levels of energy.
Yes.
What did you retain from that book? How was the experience of reading that?
So all of the chapters that I read, I felt like I resonated with that energy at one point, and it was really cool to see like the lower energies because like I've been there. So I want to continue listening to it because I want to see it get to the higher energies and all that, but I'm trying to think of what exactly on
So
the
for those who don't know, Levels of Energy is a book that breaks down the idea of the energetic scale and explores each energy level. It's entirely theoretical. But me, Shane, Leo here, we've all found that book useful. Max, there's a chapter in there. There's a chapter in there about level 80, which is the level of sadness, grief, and pity.
Mhm.
You said that one you really resonated with or felt described you.
Yeah, I felt like
What do you remember that like hit with you?
hold on, I'm trying to think with that one exactly. I think maybe because it's like I've been in more of like a breakup lately, so like that's what kind of I've probably been in more level 80 energy and like ruminating on that, so that's probably why I resonated with that the most.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
So that's
Oh,
meditating. How was that?
See, that one I really wish I would have kept with the entirety of because I think that would have ultimately been the most beneficial to me because I really find benefit in meditating. Like I every time I feel good and it doesn't even feel like something tedious to do, which is why I'm so confused as to why I like didn't follow through with doing it. Because I really think it's like a positive thing and I it really clears my mind every time that I do it, and I think that would have helped with like just my current situation.
Yeah. So on days you didn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
I know there was feelings of emotional distraught.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever tell yourself like the typical narrative of like I don't resonate with doing this right now?
It like I like switched off completely. Like I didn't even think about the goals, which was the worst part about it. Was like I like had put it off so much. Like I just didn't even allow
You
myself.
think your brain just like disassociated from that, like just to not even like be cognizant of it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think with the other shit that was going on, I think like I just didn't want to like I yeah, disassociated so much cuz I don't think I wanted to like beat myself over not hitting the goals cuz like I was so worried about something else. Um but now like looking back, I'm like, wow, like my habits could have literally helped me with the other habits, you know what I mean? Especially
Yeah.
like meditating. Like I think that probably would have been the best thing for me to do every single one of those days. So,
Okay. I think we all know what the bigger thing is to talk about with you, Max, here.
yeah. Max's
Wait,
problems episode coming soon.
we'll give a snippet of the Max's Problems episode. Max, you would say you're a hedonistic man, correct?
Yes. Which this is like honestly, the past 2 weeks has really, really like shown me how hedonistic I've truly gotten.
Sure. So the reason that there was a specific stimuli that occurred in your life that acted as something that felt so real and overwhelming to you that you disassociated from even like remembering. You disassociated from the concept of habits, even remembering
Yeah.
what habits to do. Now, 2 years ago, I was in a self-help group with you, Max,
Mm-hmm.
and the group had something similar to this. It was basically the concept. Let me mute my phone. Somebody's texting me. It was basically the concept of every week we would listen to a book, and at the end of the week we would talk about the chapter of the book that we listened to. Each week we would listen to a chapter or so.
Mm-hmm.
We would also have specific habits we were supposed to hit each week.
Oh Lord, I don't even remember. I feel like I was probably way more on my shit then.
I remember you quit like what, like 2 months into that?
Yeah.
The rationale for leaving that at the time, you said you were busy with school,
Mm-hmm.
and were you talking to a girl back then? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so if we
just-
shorten that,
yeah.
basically what it means is you were hanging out with your friends and you had some schoolwork that you procrastinated on and was on top of you.
Yeah.
Because
All
of
stemming
this,
from hedonism.
yes. Okay,
Yes.
so we could even say that you got in a downward spiral you had to be reactive to because of hedonism.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, you said that because of this you had to get out. Now, other times in the past, you've told me you wish you would have stuck on it. You wish you would have stayed with your shit. You said you recall feeling unnaturally confident in that time, right? Like you remember specific moments where because you were doing on your shit, you felt like a clean sense of pride.
Yeah,
correct?
just you talking about like the call, like it made me remember the calls and just like yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, I remember you would tell me stories about like you, and you're somebody that's always struggled like social anxiety
And
trouble,
confidence, yeah.
confidence, trouble talking to girls, things like
Yeah.
that. I remember you telling me stories in this time of like you're at school and you're just feeling like the shit and you're talking to everybody. You're like an outgoing guy, and that's not natural for you. That was something
Right.
that was an output of you being in there. Okay, so you've accessed a state that's not normal to you. Back then, you said you couldn't do it. If we're being honest, you could have done it. You just didn't want to put the extra proactivity on top of, like schoolwork and shit like that. Like you didn't want to carve an extra time to listen to like a book.
Yeah.
What it was. This week, you could have also did it, but you didn't want to carve the time to put a book. What I would say is your overarching problem is that because you tell yourself the story of like, it's not real to me, or you always tell your story of like these things as reasons you can't do it, the new excuse.
Yeah.
You are in such a momentum of consumerism that proactivity feels bizarre to you. Meaning, when you ask like what's real to you, for you it's like what's real to me is the music I like, the film I like, the culture I'm interested in, ideas other people have talked about that I like. If we talk about a 5 minute meditation, you get so conceptually stressed about that you disassociate from the concept. Let's say one big thing is you have told yourself the story of congruence and told yourself a falsified story about how the only thing that's real to you is consumerism, where consumerism feels much more real than proactivity, and proactivity feels surreal.
Which is
I
like
would also say,
it's
go ahead.
bizarre because like I'm aware of it too. So it's like just this like horrible loop where it's like I'm aware of it, but then it's like I'm ultimately like I don't know. I feel like it can be kind of like addicting. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Well, it has its own momentum, like consumerism
Yeah.
momentum, because it does feel unreal after like if you hang out with your friends every day, and like just like do whatever you feel like impulsively and just like consume media every day, and like you're on that shit, and you're not introducing like any sort of habit. Doing a habit feels like a huge deal. Well, like for me, going to the gym is just I'm going to the gym today, like some shit like that.
Yep.
Doesn't it's just whatever. Um, okay, so I would say that's something. I would also tell you these things that feel real as to why you can't do it are completely convenient. And you know this because we've talked about how you rationalize things in the past. And you've been like, yeah, like it was just a rationalization.
Yeah, but dude,
I'm on
like
top
I
of
don't.
it, I realized.
I feel like I'm with you on that, but like I feel like with this, this whole thing coming up, just to get out of like meditating and like listening to a book, I feel like nah. Like I don't know.
A 5 minute meditation and listening to 20 minutes of a book.
But I'm saying like I don't
Crazy.
think the whole thing arose because of like I wanted to just like subconsciously avoid doing my habits.
And I
That's what I'm
disagree with you.
saying. Okay.
I disagree with you. I think that it was convenient. I think that this does feel real to you, but you unconsciously increase how real it feels to avoid taking on proactivity, and that you represent an archetype, and that this isn't uncommon, and you've caught your rationalizations, many of them that you would not have caught if you weren't challenged or confronted about them, and you catching those ones should give you a glimpse into how much deeper it goes if you don't take on proactivity to get on top of it. Maybe it is real. Maybe I'm wrong. But I would say it's a rationalization not to take on proactivity because it's just listening to a book and breathing.
Yeah.
It's not like
No,
you
I
ain't running
gotcha.
miles. Bro.
Yeah.
But does anybody else have any questions or input on Max's segment of the habits?
We were talking about levels of energy. My favorite is 180. Just so you know. 180 is cool.
favorite?
Shane,
Yeah.
I feel like you have I sense energetically that that you feel for the position that Max is in. You have sympathy for it, and there's some shit that you want to question. I can feel it in you.
I dislike your awareness. So I'll even let you know about this. After I got done speaking, I went and I'm sitting in my chair right now, which is why people probably keep hearing like squeaking and stuff. It's a trash chair.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
went and I laid down on my ground, on my floor, and I was listening. And as soon as you said, "Does anybody else have anything to say?" I shot up because I'm like, I do to some extent. I don't know. I feel like my Max with his habits, and maybe I just relate to it as an NFP because I totally get it. Like this hedonistic tendency of writing off proactive ideas. I don't know if it's the only way I think for me I rationalize that he subconsciously could be doing this behavior is a sense of comfort. But I don't think Max is comfortable where he's at, personally.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
true,
say-
but that's true. But this sort of uncomfortability feels more like home than the other uncomfortability.
That's fair. I understand that. Max, I have a real question for you.
Yeah.
You said meditating, and I don't want to get into stuff that's like you don't want to and stuff. But you said meditating, one, might have helped you with the thing you're going to, but two, also might have helped you better your other habits. What is this? Why have you put a high? Or I shouldn't say why have you put it. What is the beauty and value you've put into meditation now? As a person who only did it for a few days.
No, I used to meditate like a lot.
For sure, yeah.
A few years ago, but I like fell off with that.
Got comfortable again, huh?
Yeah, no, 100%. So I think it would have helped calm my mind down and like just made me, at least for those 5 minutes, not focus on what I was focusing on. So I think that would have been helpful, and I think it also would have just put me in a momentum, because then I would have been like, well, at least I achieved one of the goals today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I might have been drawn to be like, okay, well then let's just like get let's get through this chapter of the book. And I think meditating would have been the easiest thing to do to make me feel better.
Do you think meditating is an action that you perceive to be a great, I mean, I think you already pretty much said it, but it's a great starter or a time of sitting that allows you to invite these other habits in more willingly?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, for sure. I was just curious about that. Yeah,
I have a question related to the meditating too, but Leo, I want you to chime in because you've heard like Max's perspective on like it was just like, you know, like it was actually like he wasn't avoiding it. It wasn't a convenient belief. Like it was actually overwhelming. You've heard my perspective. You're an INFP, okay?
Yep.
You, I feel like, understand Max's perspective and then understand my criticism to it. What is your like genuine conclusion of that whole thing?
I think I'm just built different. I can't really relate to it. You know what I mean? I'm just built different for real.
Okay, so what do you perceive that he was doing? Do you think like
it's just comfort. Like you're just comfortable. You're comfortable in that state of like consuming. I think it's all comfortable. Like it's something very familiar. It's super easy. It's just like much easier than to like discipline yourself to be humanistic. It's just easier. Like that's all. And I don't know. I guess I've always had like I just can't like I guess I just like can't let myself do thing. Like I just always like I put like I have a very high expectation of myself. Like I have to become like this like artist. I have to do like this and this, you know. I have to be like getting into my winner effect, you know.
That's actually okay, let's hit on that, Max, very quickly. Just yes or no, okay? Because I want to ask this question, but it's not really important. After you meditated, did that energy just like, did you feel like a different Max after you meditated than you did previously meditating?
I wouldn't say like a different me, but like I just felt like a wave of like clearness and like
clarity, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leah, you talked about like you just have higher expectation. Like if you thought about like not doing a 5-minute meditation or some shit, you would have something in your inner dialogue like, bro, it's a 5-minute, like I'm not gonna succumb. Like you would have that within yourself. I think that part of the reason that people struggle with habits, part of the reason people struggle with consistency, I actually wrote a big thing about this in my notes, like a sociological perspective. I think a reason people struggle with consistency is that sympathy. I want to intellectualize it in a more poignant manner, but all I can think of is that sympathy. It's a lack of standards. It's really permissiveness and because people in our age range are predominantly liberal, and they would say shit to this like, "Oh, I can't meditate because I'm borderline and I felt empty today, so I couldn't meditate." Like that would be the sort of like communication they have it, and that sentiment is growing increasingly popular. Like, if I'm not motivated, how could I do it? If I don't like, I had this thing against me, so I couldn't do it. This happened to me as a kid, so now I'm not the person who does that, and I think that this is just growing more. This is breeding more and more inconsistency in people's day-to-day life. And it's also making people conveniently permissive, because part of the reason that Max hasn't got on top of this yet is because Max does have an in-trained permissive voice in himself. Like if he doesn't do it, he'll say, well, I didn't do it because of this thing. Or if he's conquered that, he'll say, well, at least I know I'm not doing that. Like a voice that comforts to himself. Our culture is like more and more focused on like, it's okay that you didn't do that thing that did it. And part of that energy is like dope. Part of that's good. Like empathy for yourself is good. But it's not becoming empathy or respect for the self. It's becoming blatant permissiveness and praying to hedonism.
I swear. Yeah, that's crazy. No, I kind of have noticed that in our upcoming generation. Yeah, just yeah, damn, that's crazy. No, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
okay, Max. So we'll say last question for you, Max. A day, think of a day where you did all of those.
Mm-hmm.
What did Max feel like on a day where he fucking didn't touch himself, read levels of energy, and meditated?
Oh, I felt really
what
good.
was Max's brain like?
I'm like, damn, I just hit like all my goals. Yeah, I felt really good at all of those days that I did hit my goals.
Did it impact you differently when you were socializing? Did people around you notice anything different? Did you notice a difference in yourself?
I noticed a difference in myself, yeah. Especially, like, I know you, like, I've put a heavy importance on this, but especially with the meditating. With, like, because how bad my anxiety can be, like, that can just be, like, 5 minutes where, and it, like, doesn't even feel like 5 minutes either. Like, it's this weird thing. But yeah. No, I felt really good when I was getting my goals done, or my habits.
Hey, that concludes our Max segment.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing about the whole thing. I think what this brought overall with me is just an overall lack of willpower that I have, and that's like something I've discovered that it's just a lack of willpower, and I really want to fix that. But I think that at least at the end of the 2 weeks, I've really realized that's something I need to work on. So I'm taking that at least as a W. Like that's something that has been brought to my attention.
Heck yeah, bro. Take the W on it, dude.
Hell yeah, bro. You did it, bro. You didn't do that shit for 7 days. You did it, bro.
Nah, learn and grow, bro. Learn and grow. I mean,
Learn
I guess
and
you guys
grow.
were probably doing... Anyways, who's next, y'all?
Next man up.
Leo August. All right, let's jump into it. So a disclaimer before, I had the power to do all these, so these aren't really excuses. I'm just going to say what happened exactly, but I definitely had the power to do all 3 of these, but I was tripping, okay? So
Could have done it, but he didn't. He takes responsibility.
Could have done it. Yep. But anyways, so we'll start with this. So I had no fat, meditating, and journaling. So the no fat, what happened was, okay, going really well. You feel me? I'm in my winter effect. I'm doing well. I'm talking to this girl. She bad. What happened was, okay, so we have a really good date, right? I bring this girl back to the crib, okay? We cuddling next to each other, okay? And you already know, so I'm on like, yeah, another thing I have to say. So I technically did no fat. So I did no fat for 16 days, but what happened was I started it on my own a couple of days before Alan came to me and was like, hey, we're going to do this 2-week thing. And so I just kind of hopped on. So I technically did do it, but I broke it in like, you know what I mean? Towards like day like 12 of your guys's 2-week thing, if that makes sense.
You did hit 14 days, but not in our interim.
Exactly, yeah. So technically did it, but technically I still should have done it, right? So that it would have been like day 20 or something if I would have added it to this 2-week thing. But anyways, still should have done it, but this is what happened. Right. So anyway, so I'm at like day 12 and I got this girl in my bed with me cuddling, right? So I'm off the charts horny. Oh my God, off the fucking charts. Yeah, we doing it all. We doing it all. But anyways, nothing ended. We didn't do nothing, which was cool, which was totally fine. I wasn't even expecting to do anything. So all we did was cuddle and stuff. So it kind of left me with this like very high sexual energy. So I didn't do anything that night, but it was like the night after or 2 nights after, I still had that energy. So I just had to get it out of me. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? When you were like literally having a female there with you and then nothing happening, which was totally fine, by the way. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. But no. We didn't have to do nothing. But anyway, you feel me? So yeah, it was like a little, I had to get out that energy, but still could have had some super willpower could have been activated to not do anything. But yeah, So that happened. And then I was kind of bummed because the girl kind of ghosted me. So we kind of talk now, but not as much as we were. So then that kind of sprouted to the other habits. But I'm trying to think. Oh, so the meditating. So meditating first off is such a beautiful thing, man. I would recommend it to anyone. It's just so beautiful. I usually do it before like gym and stuff, and it really helps me focus. And yeah, just a good way to clear the mind and everything. But so I always meditate outside in the sun, and some days there were like overcast days. So those days I find are a lot harder to meditate cuz like I really enjoy doing it outside, specifically in the sunlight, like really hot too. So it's like if it's overcast, it's a lot harder for me to do it, but I would still do it in my room and stuff. But then I would miss like I think I missed like a day when it was overcast, and I would just be like, I just use that as a like excuse, like a rationalization. But if it is a sunny day out, I 100% will get out and meditate, like because there's like no excuse, like, and that's just like the best feeling. Um, journaling was just like after the girl incident, I was just like, damn. There was just one day I just like didn't do it. I don't know, it kind of spiraled into that. But the journaling is also such a beautiful thing, man, because I don't know if you remember, Alan. Journaling for me really like kind of slows down time because you're really like taking in each day. And I remember telling Alan, he was like, I thought the 2 week thing was over. And then Alan was like, nah, bro, we're only on like day 12 or something. And I told Alan, I was like, damn, bro, I thought we've been doing this for like a month. Like it felt so long because I was taking in each day. Like I journal about like what I'm grateful for, just like everything like that, just like really taking in the day and really appreciating my time. And so yeah, journaling was a beautiful thing in that regard. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Yeah, so because some kind of bad timing happened with the 2 week thing, but still totally could have done it. But hey, we now we about to do the 1 month thing, and yeah, we gonna rock that.
So how many days did you hit
with NoFap?
With just like habits in general? Like how many days did you like miss a habit or whatever?
Yeah, so it was probably like one meditation day out of the 14 days, and then it was like two meditating days, and then one journaling day, and then one NoFap day, so 4 total. But that was all like, I would say like the journaling and the meditating day were probably on the same day, and then like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
You're somebody who's like, you do have the expectation part of you.
Yeah.
I think you utilize the winner effect in your favor more than you utilize like conscientiousness. Me and you understand that we're pleasure-based people, so we don't even think of like going to work out like we're gonna grind. We've actually talked about this, like people in the gym who are like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make myself do it." And if I feel like quitting,
robot.
I'm gonna give it.
You gotta be a fucking robot and
our
get
focus
this
is,
shit done.
We go on the gym, and we're already honest with ourselves. We're like, if we're gritting and grinding this, we're not gonna do it very long. We know the type of people that we are. So our objective is always, how do we make ourselves enjoy being at the gym? Like, how do I addict myself at the gym? Because emotions are addicting. And the same way you get addicted to like idealizing a girl, you know, like, oh, she's this and she just happened to be in my life, and my life is like this, and now she's here and she's in this part of her life, and we just conjoin, and it's so interesting that and then you just fixate on that until it becomes unproductive. In the same way that you get addicted to going that, you could get addicted to, I'm at the gym, I'm in here every day, I'm getting better, I'm being proactive, this is becoming normal to me, I'm setting myself up in this way. And it's like each time you do a set is like a +1 for your self-esteem points or some shit like that. Like, I did it, like a self-respect thing. And you primarily work off that. And I remember like 7 days into it, you had lost your loser effect. Or no, you lost your winner effect. You entered a little loser effect, and that was like a reason you started to fall into it. You've known about the winner effect before you even known it as a vocabulary word. At what point did you intuitively understand the winner effect and attempt to integrate it in your life? Because I don't think we need to talk consistency with you. I've seen you be consistent for a long time, but it's not normal for somebody as artistic, as intuitive, as INFP as you to be consistent. So
yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm trying to remember when the switch kind of flipped. I remember it was kind of like a switch flip. I think it was with Zaz. Zaz is my brother for viewers. When was it? Maybe it was like I kind of started doing like exercising in like sophomore year. And I think what happened was I think Xavier was going to the gym a lot and it was just like pretty inspiring and like he was like reading like books and stuff and he was just like really like bettering himself. And so I've always kind of followed my brother's footsteps, so I kind of like saw that and thought it was really dope. And so I kind of got into it. And then yeah, ever since then, it's kind of like been improving on it. But then I would say it's been pretty recently though. Like I'd say in the last like 6 months or so, where I've been like, fucking like, okay, damn, like I can really be consistent at this, and it's really like not even a issue anymore. Like I don't even need to like think about it. Like taking it to like the next level. Like yeah, for sure.
I'm sure there was a time where like going to the gym every day seemed like a big task. Now that feels normal to you. So we're with where you're at right now, what feels like have you felt things becoming increasingly more feasible to you? As in like when you're beginning, like say with Max, a 5 minute meditation feels like, damn, I gotta meditate 5 minutes every day. Like they're like integrating that like feels like something. What right now is like your ceiling? What feels like, damn, I would have to do X? Or what feels like possible for you to achieve now that you have momentum behind you?
What feels possible? Putting down I'm trying to think. Probably getting to like 165, like weight, like it's feasible. Yeah. And I'm at
Oh, okay.
150. Yeah. So we got that. Making the album Lucky Money. That's pretty feasible. Fucking honestly meditating every day because honestly like so I'll do I probably my average meditating time is probably like 10 minutes. I'll throw on like a 10-minute guided thing, but I like when I can get to like 20 and stuff. But that's very feasible, like 10 minutes out of the day doing that. Yeah, that ain't nothing.
Sir. We'll cap this with a practical question.
Mhm.
As an INFP, there's
Yep.
an INFP telling you, I can't do X thing today because I'm not feeling motivated. What is your response?
Oh, you're not motivated. Um, I don't know. You gotta be built different. No, you gotta build yourself different. I don't know. No, I guess it's like, don't you want to be like really like imagine your future self and like, don't you just want to have like that better future and let's like have that like better self and like, isn't that like enough motivation to be like, damn, I'm gonna be in this better place if I do these habits and I know this better place is just gonna be is just gonna be so great. It's kind of happened in church one time. It's like embracing like God, you can either do like the temporary pleasures for now and it'll feel good right now, but then you'll definitely like drop and come out of it, or you can embrace like your godliness and overall that you'll be in a constant good state, but it's much harder to achieve like godliness and like be in that like state of mind. I guarantee you it will be just like it will be a million times better, a billion times better like state of life, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I guess that's just the meditation or that's the motivation. I can guarantee you your life will be better if you stick to these habits and like better yourself every day and just try to imagine your future self and go out and do it.
I think
Guaranteed.
for you, it's just a matter of resonance. You
Yeah.
resonate with the potential outcome more than you resonate with consumerism. And INFPs are like that, like they identify themselves as like, what do I like? They're always asking themselves, what do I like? What do I feel about X? So if you get yourself literally just asking that question about more productive things, like what would I look like if I did the right things for 6 months? Or how much better would I feel if I did X? Or like just productive things in general, instead of asking like what most INFPs ask, which is like, and then make an identity out of, which is like, how do I feel about this music? How do I feel about this opinion on TikTok? Do I resonate with that? How do I do it? You've literally just changed the questions.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Just don't resonate. Yeah, I'm not even gonna resonate. Like what those questions you just said, well, how do I feel about this music? Like I just don't even like I'm not even gonna answer that. It's just like I'm not even fucking with that energy. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, I
High
literally don't even
standards.
I don't even resonate with that question. So it's like, yeah. That's
Man
that's a
with
good point.
standards. We love it. Okay. Clap it up
Yep.
for Leo.
All right. Thank you,
We
yo.
did it. Okay. Now, the great, the marvelous, the transcendent, dominator, the tyrant.
Down.
What?
Speak to us
Whoa.
about your experience.
Yeah, the 2 weeks were like something for me. So my my habits were I think probably like the most difficult things I probably could have chosen for myself. So one was like no sugar for the 2 weeks. Doing yoga every day and waking up at 5 a.m. All of those things are like things that I've wanted to incorporate anyways, and I was like, okay, this is probably like a great time for me to like start. But then like probably 5 days in, 3 days in, I got like extremely sick. So I couldn't even do like the waking up at 5 a.m. one. But like I tried to do the other ones at least. So I got through that, which was like pretty good.
Okay. You completed
I
5 days
was
and then you got
like,
COVID.
yeah, well, it wasn't COVID, but it was like the flu, and I had like the flu like twice. Cause like when you asked me, when you told me about it, I was like, okay, cool. And like that day, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try out the 5 a.m. thing to see if I can even do that in the first place, which I didn't know was like the day before everyone else started, or a couple days before.
You
So I
did.
just did it. So I did it
Yeah.
anyways, and then I was like, okay, this is alright. I actually feel pretty good about this. I can do it. But then I don't know if that like led to me being sick because like I would also sleep like pretty late
Ooh.
and that probably stressed me out. It was also like exam like I had a bunch of like essays and stuff due for like university that week and I was like stressing out over like trying to wake up at 5 a.m. and then trying to get assignments done and not sleeping late. It was like terrible.
Okay, let's start here. It was no sugar, yoga, wake up at 5 a.m., correct?
Yes.
On a day, a prototypical day, where you did all those fucking habits. What difference did it make, Miss Kitten?
Um Like, I don't know if this is like just me or if this is like my body just telling me that I want to have sugar, but like whenever I don't eat sugar or I eat like significantly less sugar, I feel really tired. And it's like I don't want to be like, oh, I only run off sugar. That's not true. I don't even consume a lot of sugar anyways. But it's like when I kind of take it away, I think I have this pseudo effect where it's like you need to have something sugary. Like even if it's just like a milkshake or something. Um and I mean, it doesn't help that like my mom's cooking, like we have a lot of sugar in our like food as part of like the sauces and stuff, but I'm not like fully aware of like everything, so it's like that's probably why I have like this like weird dependency. Um, but waking up at 5 a.m. was pretty good. Like I did feel like great for the rest of the day for the most part. I was like, okay, I actually have like all this time and like planning everything out was great. And I mean, I did yoga anyways because like I want to increase flexibility, but also it's like a self-care like what's the word? Like meditation thing for me. So that was kind of like normal, but I mean, yeah, no sugar really like messed me up.
Yeah,
So,
no sugar had you fucked up, bruh. So you would
yeah.
recommend the 5 a.m. thing because I've heard mixed reviews about that.
Okay, well, so for school, like during high school, I used to wake up at like 6 a.m. So that's like an hour later, but still, that's still pretty early for like a lot of people. And like that was honestly just so I can get up, um, feel shitty for the first hour, but by the time I'm in school, I'm like fully awake. But also because I wanted to like play games or watch like something before I go to school to just even get me in the mood for like school. And that was like great. And I've been trying to like incorporate that again because outside of school now, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna relax, I'm gonna sleep in. But I don't think that's like a good thing, and I don't think it ever has been a good thing. I recommend waking up like earlier, like even if it's like 7 a.m.
Yeah. You're a productive enough person to where I feel like if you didn't get sick, I fully trust that you would have carried out with the 14 days.
Like it was like aside from like not knowing how my mom cooks our food, um, like for the most part, it was like everything, just the 5 a.m. one. And like I mean, there was one day where I did wake up at 6, but that's still like quite early, like 5:36. That's still like super early for me considering like I think I normally wake up at like 8 or 9 now if I have nothing to do for that day. But it's like such a terrible habit
Yeah.
because like you have less time to do things, and then I think that stresses people out more when they don't have like, or they don't feel like they have time.
Yeah, you picked some pretty like stark habits to where like if anybody else would have picked those habits, I would have been like, this is crazy. And at first I kind of was, but I guess like it feels normal to me because you seem like naturally like an organizational person. And even though you could be on some mental masturbation shit, reading some Nietzsche book about how to catch fish or some shit, you also be on you also be on some productive shit like asking yourself what is the optimal thing to do. So I want to ask you an MBTI related question.
Yeah.
Do you, because you see like P personalities, us P personalities, the majority of us like pick like just to be blunt, just like some easier shit. Why do you think, like, what is the reason that P types study with or struggle with consistency other than the blatant like P personality types or laziness? What stories, narratives, or things have you noticed that keep P types from not doing it? Or if you're not even fucking fascinated enough by P personality types to ask that question, what potentially do you think would halt P personality types from achieving consistency?
Okay, so like outside of like our little group, I don't think I know anyone that like I could attribute like a P personality type to, because like I'm not even like too um what's the word? Uh
Depth.
well informed about like all of the functions and all of that stuff. Like I have a like very generic understanding. Um so like it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, this is
Use
what
the
people
group as a model
do.
then.
But like yeah, but like for our group specifically, I mean like the running theme is like hedonism and like I guess like a lack of self-control. Like that seems to be like part of
Yeah.
it, like no discipline. Like I think like for me like sort of the way like I approach things, right? It's like I am constantly focused on the fact that I need to be disciplined if I want to do things, and if I don't do that, then that ruins like the rest of the structure. But I think P types, they don't even necessarily have like a structure to begin with. So it's like they don't, I guess, understand like the consequences of not doing something because it's not like I guess as obvious.
Yeah.
And
Do
like
you
yeah,
do
like
you
I
perceive
yeah.
do you perceive any learned helplessness among P types?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, because there's a lot of like you said discipline. I would agree with the discipline, but I think like learned helplessness is like the most specific thing because it's like this like concept of like I couldn't do it, and then the reason is like something that
Oh,
they could
right.
definitely do. Because you're the type of person where you're in a mode of like you already have it in depth in you of like how do I feel? It doesn't matter what I'm feeling. I'm going to do the thing, which is it's an extreme personality, but it is the type of personality structure that allows you to achieve what you want to achieve the majority of the time. So, do you perceive a learned helplessness in P types?
I guess like well, I mean, like again for our group, like it that also seems to be like a running theme. Um, and like I don't even want to say that's necessarily for just P types because I feel like anyone who has like you know, anxiety could also experience that sort of thing. Like I have heavy
Yeah,
like honestly at this point I need to go see someone. Like anxiety. So like that kind of like, oh, I can't do it. So I'm just not gonna bother doing it is like something that I indulge in a lot, even though like I think I don't focus on that as like an excuse, right? Like
yeah,
I don't try and let that be an excuse. But if it's like something where it's like extremely overwhelming and I'm like, no, I can't do this, I can't do this, that's where it would come about. So I guess it like it does depend on like the person, right? Like like probably that like anxiety like plays a bigger role. But
yeah.
I mean,
I do tend to focus on like when I talk to P types and I advise them on consistency. I do tend to place an emphasis on my advice, or I tend to place an emphasis on nourishment in my advice. Like I take understanding of the things they feel that they say inhibits them from doing something, and then from there, I give them advice. But would you say it's more productive to take an approach to just say like, bro, just do the thing for 30 days, stop asking how you feel, and just do the thing? You feel like that's actually the productive advice to give to like P types or feeler types?
Well, okay. Um, I want to say yes because like again from my experience sort of like going in and out of like different things. So like the way I sort of work is like I'll have a burst of energy and I'm like, okay, I want to I want to start drawing like every day for the next like week because I have this like sudden inspiration or like I want to start like exercising every day. Like and then sort of going in and out of that being like, oh, I can do this, I can't do this. Like I learned that just even doing it for a couple of days makes you feel good because you're like, okay, I actually started something. And even
Yeah.
if you fall off it, it's like you can still be like, well, I did do the thing. Like I did do it. And that's all that matters is that you actually started it instead of like thinking about it and then not even making any attempt. Like
Sure.
I think that's how I went about like yoga. Like um so it's mainly for like to gain flexibility because I think like what's it called as you age especially like you just tend to become more like rigid. Um and like I didn't have like a lot of flexibility anyways. And it's good for like if you're exercising and shit, like you want to be like as flexible as possible. But like when you start out, it's like the most extremely difficult thing I think I've ever experienced just for the fact that like it's painful
Yeah.
when you start out, but when you actually like push like if you do it like
It's like
every
birth.
day, oh my god, like yeah, like keep pushing. Like you like I noticed like I'm like 100% like more flexible now. And even if I like stop for like, a couple of weeks, it's still there. Like I'm still like seeing the benefits of just doing it for like a little while.
I have nothing else to ask Miss Kitten. Does anybody else want to ask Miss Kitten anything?
Why are you so rude to us P types? No, I got nothing.
What?
No, I'm
Miss
joking.
Kitten, do
We
you
also have
wanna do
sugar.
you wanna qualify anything, Miss Kitten?
Um, I mean, like, mind you, like, even though I probably could have done like the 14 days, I definitely like would have struggled with like probably the sugar one, to be honest. Even though I did do it, but like I still like struggled so hard with it.
You fucking did it. Okay.
Cause like there's like a McDonald's outside of my work, and I'm like,
McDonald's is smack.
Yup.
Okay.
Dude, I might run
Yeah.
for some Mickey D's in a minute.
Wait, Ken, have you always resonated with like higher energy? You think like you just don't even want to like, I guess like entertain like lower energy?
okay, so higher energy is like the whole like,
Alan,
She doesn't think about that. She is more logical, I promise you. When Kitten thinks about productivity, she's not thinking of terms like high vibrational energy. She's literally just thinking like, if I don't do this, then this thing is going to come out of it and I have to do it. She works more through like a sense of urgency or a fear of loss. Like, I don't want to do this and miss out on da da da. She doesn't think in terms of like energy or things like that.
oh, got you. That's crazy. Damn.
It's
what do you
more
mean that's crazy? What?
it's pure discipline and systems with her.
No, okay, like it's like we're on the same way, but just the way we think about it is different. Like it's not like I'm doing the opposite of you. That's the reason why it's crazy. It's crazy because like we're getting to the same goal, but we just think about it differently. You know what I mean? That's what's crazy.
Okay, yeah, like I think I see that. I don't know, like I don't even try to like put things in boxes and categorize, but I think I just like naturally do that. I don't even notice it.
She puts everybody
Like
in a
it's like
box.
it's always like goal orientated and then
An
I like
INFP's
lay out a
nightmare.
path towards that.
Yeah.
But
It's
like just
fascinating
do
that
the thing, right?
Kitten is so like organizational and systematic and fucking like logical and cold, and she's like surrounded by all these INFPs in this group, bro.
That's
Hilarious.
my downfall though, because it's like I think I am aware of like that and then I tried not to do that, but then like that's also detrimental to me because like
I'm excited for the INTJ
I
episode.
didn't do anything.
It'll be a kitten roast.
Uh,
All right,
yeah.
all right. Let's get on to me. Let's get the
Let's
fuck
do
out of
it.
here. Some people have jobs. People have work.
I gotta work in the morning.
Go
Some
work in the
people-
morning, kids.
Some people have anal cream pies. Okay.
I'm
So let's
even
get
trying
into
to
it.
get back
June-
to Alan.
June
That's been
1st.
Alan's biggest struggle. The lack
Alan.
of anal cream pies.
What's up, Toff?
Alan, buddy. What were your 3 habits?
My 3 habits were, this man wants to get out of it. My 3 habits were no fat, meditating every day, and exercising every day. So I'll go through them. Let's start with meditating. Meditating, I changed a lot of my meditations. I'm never consistent in meditation, not meaning I don't do it every day. I find meditation easy to do at this point. I remember when I first started it in like 2018, 2019, and me and my friend Rowan knows them, Leo knows them. My old friend Seth, we got into meditation. We were trying it out. He turned off his light. We sat there and he was like, okay, we're just going to do it for 5 minutes because we were trying to be more consistent and shit. This was back when this was the seeds of me learning consistency, habits, winner effects, all that. And he turned the lights off and he's like, we're going to meditate for 5 minutes. And the entire time I was like, telling myself in my head, I was like, all right, don't think. Oh, I'm thinking. I'm not going to think. And then I was like, oh, I'm not thinking. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I just thought I'm not thinking. How am I? And I would just do it. And then like 2 minutes into meditating, I was like, all right, bro, I already failed this meditation. So I'm going to just sit here and just like, I'm going to breathe for the next 2 minutes. I'm going to get through it. And then I was like, all right, man, it's definitely been 5 minutes. Don't check the time. And then I'm in my head like, I don't want to check the time. And then like, it's not close. It'd be embarrassed. And then I did. This is a 5-minute meditation, mind you.
Oh my god!
And then I checked the time, and it was only like 2 minutes, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Bro, holy shit!
I was like, "This is so hard, bro. What the fuck?" And then, basically, my meditations carried like this for a long time until I did a course about trauma healing, and I did these trauma-based meditations. And from there, I feel meditating has been challenging at points, but it's been easy. And there's been times in my life where I meditated every day purely for winner effect. The concern is I didn't know exactly why I was meditating or what I was getting out of meditating. And I've gone different routes with how it could conceivably productive. On the most basic level, you could say it calms you down, you get serotonin. That's not stimulating enough to me. I need something more conceptual to clasp onto. And what I think I've got is it just takes me out of reaction. It centers me in my own action. And I think I've gotten to a point where I can just like access the state I'm in when I meditate more often. One thing I did when I worked at a factory is I did active meditations where I really hated the concept of only meditating in a room by yourself with closed everything, lights turned off, no stimulus, because I was like, you're not testing your presence. Like anybody can make themselves present in a room alone. So something I challenged myself to do was active meditations. I was like, I need to be present everywhere. I took that on. I think that made it easier. I honestly just think like just telling myself I was going to figure it out had me figure it out. So I know why I'm doing it now. It solidifies me in my own action. It centers me. It's me less reactive. Puts me at the cause. And I enjoy the fuck out of that. I'm addicted to that now. Anyways, the various meditations I did some silent meditations. I did some meditations with like 432 hertz shit. I did meditations outside. I did meditations to positive affirmations. And in one positive affirmation, I just celebrated what I did all day. Like I said some shit like, I did everything today. I'm a winner. My life is getting better and better. I did everything today. I'm a winner. My life is getting... And I just repeated that to myself for the whole meditation. The meditation was dope. By the way, I did everything all 14 days. I'm the only motherfucker here that did this shit all 14 days. Yeah. And I'm a naturally lazy guy, so they was on some bullshit with that other shit, bro. They was on some bullshit, bro. Anyways,
the girl, man.
I've had some. Anyways, bro. So I did the meditation, exercising. I've been consistently exercising for a while. I wasn't able to hit the gym every day, so I did some at-home meditations. Just like watch some like fucking exercises. I watched some exercising videos and did the exercises. That was dope. Yeah, some of those I struggled through. Some of the, because I'm not on top of exercising the same way I am with meditating. But it was dope. I got my winter effect. I think the interesting aspect of exercising was more me getting on top of my ideal result, and then also the sociological things I've noticed at the gym, because I've been perceiving a lot about motherfuckers at the gym, bro. And I notice there's one thing I specifically noticed at the gym that I told Leo is you could tell who's like been at the gym for a while versus like who's like new, because the people who are new, they ping a lot after they do an exercise. They look around to see if somebody else is judging them doing the exercise. They're constantly looking at what other people are doing and comparing. They're nervous that they're doing the exercising wrong. They're just like upset about them being in their body. And then there's other people who are just like in their own act. These people inspire the fuck out of me, bro, because I'm sure people would be like, oh, they're narcissists. They're only worried about themselves. It's like, what is this concept that if you take care of yourself, you're a narcissist? I hate that shit so much. It's like people pretending that having low self-esteem is high vibrational. It's people like confusing humility with low self-esteem. If you hate yourself, how the fuck could you be humble? It's not like you feel anything when you achieve anything anyways. Like if you hate yourself and you exercise, you're going to be like, I still suck. Did the exercise, but I'm still ugly, and I got so many more exercises to go before I'm even attractive, whatever. But I guess I'm just gonna grit and grind myself through the exercise. And people would like pretend that these people are good people, bro, just because they have low
Damn.
self-esteem. We're more likely to be sympathetic to them. But people will go to the gym and be like, I'm on top of my shit. I love my body. I love the direction my body is headed. I love myself for going to the gym. Look at me. And then people will be like, bad person, horrible person. You should feel ashamed. It's like, why? Like we all say that the latter is more desirable, but we also all attribute like less morale to the latter or less honor to the latter. I can't stand that shit. As far as like weight, I plateaued in weight, so I just decided like I'm eating everything in sight. I'm gonna get on top of this shit. My goal in June is to gain 10 pounds. I think I had something else related. Oh, another big thing I noticed at the gym. A lot of people get in this mindset at the gym of I'm gonna grind myself through these exercises, and it sucks, but I have to do it. And they have this success ceiling that if they don't force themselves to do something, they're not going to do it. And I think it's just what I said, is a success ceiling. So my motive now is I want to go through the gym to love. Like I just want to be like, I enjoy going to the gym. I'm having a good time going to the gym, and I enjoy the process of what I'm becoming. And I know I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to get in that mindset. Because we look at people like have more discipline, like they're stronger in a sense. I think that people who have more discipline are more honorable than people who say they can't fucking exercise for 10 minutes, but they watched the TV show all night and laid in bed and scrolled Twitter. Like I think they're more honorable than those people. I think it's more honorable than apathy, but I think in a way it's kind of dumb. Like it's kind of like a dumb thing to have high self-esteem about, given self-esteem works in ladders. You could celebrate you getting to that new plateau, getting to a point where you've disciplined yourself and you're beyond apathy. That's cool. But I think the ultimate spot is you no longer need discipline because you just resonate with doing that. That should be the goal. That's where I'm trying to go with the gym. Let's talk about the hard thing. All y'all, except for Leo, because he did 16 days, so I'll give him that. All y'all motherfuckers who said you couldn't do the no fat streak. Let me tell you a little something about me. I'll be clapping. Cheeks, me,
Yep.
we intimate together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what rings through my head on a day? I'll just be at the register at work, chilling. I'll be reminiscing, and the sound effect of goes throughout my fucking head. At night, I'm sitting here, right? I'm opening up Reddit. I'm going through all these porn subreddits just because I'm so used to doing it. And I'm like, oh my fucking god, bro, this girl's bad. I'm in public. I'm like, this girl's fucking sexy, bro. This girl is and I'm thinking like, oh man, I can't wait till I'm at a point where I'm fucking all these girls, or I can't wait till I get a girl who's like this kinky. I was thinking about like kinks. I'm thinking like, bro, like sex was just like in my fucking head, bro. And
Is that City
resisted it.
Barbecue, bro?
Bro, I was horny at City Bar. I was horny everywhere. Bro.
Today we worked together.
No,
today,
not today, not today, not today.
Okay, bro.
Because the first 15 days are the hardest in NoFap. You could read about it. Anyways,
You know.
I was peak, bro, horny, and I didn't do it. I did it with one affirmation, by the way. You want to know the affirmation? I'll let you in. The affirmation I told myself. I watched it, or no, well, I did watch it. I brought it up.
Yeah.
You know, I brought up porn. I had it, and in my head, I told myself I had the same narratives. I said, "Well, I've already been doing it for 8 days. I mean, that's already better than what I did before. If I do FAP now, at least I'm more consistent with the gaps in between fapping, so I'm more on top of it. So I shouldn't be ashamed if I do. Whatever." I had that story. And then I said, wait a minute, this is rationalizing. I cut it. I had another story. I had a story of like, oh man, I'm just too fucking horny. I'm going to do it. I'm going to nut it. Already had. And then I sat and I said, why am I acting like an NPC? I mean, I had a thought of I'm getting increasingly more horny. Guess what I did? I took 2 sleeping pills, 2 melatonin, said, nope, we going to bed. Knocked the fuck out. I conquered horniness. Now I'm more horny than y'all.
By
Um,
drugging
yeah,
yourself?
Took sleeping pills.
Yeah.
It was like
I'm-
no more.
I'm-
I don't know, man. This is crazy. I didn't know you were.
Chloroform.
I didn't know
I-
you were edging. That's crazy.
No.
Fuck, no.
Does that even count as edging? What the
I wasn't edging.
Yeah,
I wasn't
No,
touching
he just
myself.
like removed like
Yeah.
all of it by like making himself like.
Yeah,
he, like,
I
like,
didn't masturbate
castrated?
once.
Is
Yeah.
it
No.
castration? Yeah, like.
No, what's it called? Oh, am I? I thought when you watch
It's not what
porn but
edging
don't
is.
do anything, that's
No.
what I isn't that like a form of edging, or am I tripping?
No, bro. Edging is
Bro.
when you touch yourself and then you stop yourself from nutting.
There's
Oh,
a
okay.
Christian
Well,
amongst
I know
y'all, bro. We
that.
might-
You need to be aware that you're edging to get
Yeah.
the benefits of edging.
Anyways, bro, look.
Alan just castrated himself.
I fell asleep. Dick hard, bro. Dick harder than an 8-hour shift at City Barbecue.
You try, bro. Try to do when you're hard. Try to fall asleep, bro, and not do any
I did it.
any. Don't take any sleep. No, don't do any sleeping pills. No melatonin, bro. That shit's impossible. Damn near.
That's why I got
bro.
sleeping pills and melatonin. I'm not going for that shit. You know what we all have? We all have DoorDash, 7-Elevens that can deliver you both of those shits. Don't want to hear the shit, bro. Because people are.
Bro, I
so
don't want to
convinced-
take fucking sleeping pills and melatonin. I don't think that's like the
Melatonin
greatest
isn't
thing.
a sleeping pill. Melatonin is a healthy thing. It's one night. Some bullshit.
I'm not trying to take that, bro.
Okay, well, if you want to have an arbitrary boundary against something that would stop you from having consistency and something more of a day, you go ahead and have that, bro. I'd rather not touch myself than be like, I'm not doing melatonin. I'd rather not. I'm going to heaven. Anyway.
You're not touching.
Anyways, bro, I was horny as a. And then, not only that, I got girls sending me nudes because they know I'm on NoFap trying to fuck with me. Okay?
Oh,
I'm looking at 'em. I'm looking at them, I'm biting my lips, and I'm like, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore.
What the fuck?
And I made it through 14 days. By day 9, I already had it solidified in my head. I was like, oh, I'm going to achieve this. The goal had already happened by day 9. I was like, oh, I'm on top of this. And let me tell you, every night I was fucking. Remember when like we would be on calls or like Leo, I was hanging out with you in the car, and I would be like, I'm so fucking horny.
Yeah.
I was not capping, bro. I
You
was
were
not capping, bro. I
What the
was
hell,
horny
bro?
as a bitch, bro. And my reason for NoFap, like some people are like vehemently against the porn industry. That's not my motivation. Some people are religious. That's not my motivation. My motivation is dopamine conservation. I want to get my dopamine from being awesome and doing awesome things rather than touching myself. And when I nut, I want it to be on a thick Latina's belly, not my hand.
Stop.
Not my hand. You know? So it's those two things that were motivations for me not doing NoFap.
Have you still stuck with it or no? Like after the 2 weeks?
Oh, I broke that shit, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I'm doing it again.
Understandable.
I'm doing it again in June. I'm doing it for the next 31 days.
Understandable.
I'm saying, which, by the way, is a rationalization. There's layers to go with it. It is a rationalization. So yeah, that was my experience. I don't know if anybody has questions for me.
I really like what you said about how we be going to the gym like out of love and stuff, and how it's just like how we just like truly like enjoy it, because I've literally cut out some exercise, like I'll replace it with like a similar, so like let's say I don't like, because there's been exercises where it's like let's say a shoulder exercise where like I don't like it, so I try like a different shoulder exercise, and then like I like that, so it's like I'll literally cut out exercises I don't enjoy, and then like find something I like purely just because I'm like, oh, I'm at the gym because like I enjoy it. I'm not gonna do an exercise I don't enjoy. You know what I mean? So I like that you brought up that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we'll
but
and
when
we'll play
people are like,
basketball and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, we play with that helps. But when people like go to the gym and they're like, oh man, I gotta two things I avoid. I don't take selfies at the gym because that makes it seem like an accomplishment. And it is an accomplishment, but what I mean is it makes it seem like a stark accomplishment. Like that shouldn't be a big deal. It's like one thing I never did was when I bought a car, I never posted anything like my first car.
Yeah.
I graduated. I was never like, I graduated.
Yeah, I swear, bro. I
I
see
never
so
wanted to
much.
celebrate that shit. Why would I? That's not a
Yeah,
big accomplishment. Everybody does that. Or
literally,
like, I got my first job. I wasn't telling people
literally.
I worked at a window factory, bro.
Yeah,
Who
what
gives
the
a
fuck, bro?
fuck, bro?
Yeah.
But other people be like, this is my first job. I'm going to the gym. Look, this is. It's like, bro, this is the shit you celebrate. This is a peak experience to you. Or homecoming, bro. I never went to homecoming.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? Like, that's literally only a peak experience to other people just because. Like, just because we're culturally told it's a peak experience. I don't give a fuck about going to somewhere, wearing shit I don't like to wear, listening to music I don't
I
like,
don't like.
and then people being sexually promiscuous just because they feel like they should do it because other people are doing it. All that shit is lame to me. Every single
Yep.
aspect of that shit sucks, so I didn't do it. But
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that,
That's
that was
crazy.
Leo's
Yeah.
thing. Anybody else have anything to say for my habits? Because I'm done.
No, I think you
You said it
you
all.
you said yeah. Screw you for being able to do what we couldn't do, and yeah,
Oh, okay, so we'll quickly go through this. Anybody could answer this, so spitball some shit. What would you do differently now if you could just go back, restart, and do it all again?
At least meditate every day. At the very least. Even if I didn't hit all my other goals, at least meditate every day.
I think I would speak more confidently, and I wouldn't narrow myself down to. I wouldn't narrow myself down to outlandish, but I would narrow myself down to the things I'm confident in, because I enjoy what I'm confident in, and that's a prime way of just being myself, and I value that more than other people's validation and conversation.
Should have made a fucking move with the girl, man. Fuck.
Fumbled.
Fumbled the bag. Would have did that different.
It's okay.
And he
I'd
would
be
have not
fumbling
got
too.
sick.
No, I'll think of an actual response, but you can get
Kitten would have not touched that toad that made her sick.
it. No, why'd you do that, bro?
Shouldn't have kissed the boobs. I mean, I didn't take medicine like the entire time too, because I'm not anti-medicine. I just don't like taking medicine. So
I am.
I should have taken
It's
medicine.
the mark of the beast.
Stop.
Wait, but
Uh.
Tom, when you spoke to strangers, did you just like when you say you're not confident, did you just like shyly walk
You
over
harassed
and
them.
start talking?
No,
Yeah.
like I would say like
When
if I
you
was
were
so okay, so
confident.
there's different
Damn,
contexts.
Shawty, you got a fatty on you. He was harassing me.
No.
You did leg day, okay, leg day.
There's different ways I talk to people.
No,
So,
you be hitting squats.
one way I talk to strangers was I talk to them online, but I would do it as in like I would find
You were tracking down people.
no. I would use an app.
Omegle.
Basically, is I would get people Snapchats through different ways of communicating with them.
Sounds like MLM, like multi-level marketing ploy.
Yeah, kind of on that tip, yeah. But I would get like
No.
Snapchats and stuff, and so then I would like send random voice messages through Snapchat. So I definitely did that. But when we're talking about in person, my in person one was definitely the most difficult because I did it in a few different ways. I talked to new people at work. Those were the more discouraging ones because like online it's easier to disregard what people say, but in person I'm like,
They
what
look
is
at
something
you
I,
like,
I
why is he talking to me?
well, because I feel like my basis at the beginning was to say outlandish things, and so I don't want to go up to random people in public and say something outlandish. So I just started being like, I kind of was like an ISTP like troll for a lot of it, which is ironic because a lot of the people I work with, I guess, are really in that like sensor framework of mind, where it's like they treated me like I was truly being authentic instead of like playing. I was like,
That's
hey,
bro.
hey, you
Leo
see
could
they're
tell you
paving the
that's how I
parking
am
lot.
at work, and people they treat it like it's real. I talk to my managers like in like a censor voice, and they think
Yeah,
I'm like actually like that.
I was
it's
like, they're
so
paving the
funny,
parking
bro.
lot out there, man. You know, it's gonna be good to have some fresh parking. You know, it's been hurting my tires. And like one dude was like, "Yeah, man, you know they've been needing to pave that for as long as I've worked here for 25
James.
years." And I was like,
PC
"Okay."
conversations.
I kind of have a funny story. I was with Alan one time, bro, and I was sure. So this kid was like, unironically, like, oh well, Shane, you probably agree with him, but he was like, bro, I wish Alan listened to J. Cole, man, but Alan just doesn't get it. And then this is a censor, by the way. And then no, like
Oh
I
no.
like him, but I don't think he's like the fucking
No,
fucking.
like
Yeah,
Alan doesn't listen to J. Cole.
No, he sucks. And
No,
you listen to real
yeah,
hip hop bullshit, kitten. I don't want to hear
yeah.
it.
Anyways, with the
Anyways,
kid.
go ahead. Yeah.
So I started trolling, and I'm just like, bro, yeah, Alan, like he doesn't understand. J. Cole's really like a philosopher for real. And the kid's like, exactly, bro. He is like a philosopher, yeah. And Alan's just shaking his head and laughing, bro. Like it's so funny. Yeah, that was a good. I love, yeah, dude. Yeah, doing that. That shit's so much fun.
What I
Doing like the
love, bro,
censor troll.
I love like the cloud of like shame over Max. Like ever since Max has spoke, like this like
It's
this
what he
cloud of
needs.
shame Max has been sitting in, bro.
It's good for him, man.
I
Bill's
got
character.
what was coming to me, guys.
Bill's character. Okay,
At least I'm
so
not Creek though.
another one
Yeah,
I'll leave open. We have like two more things. We'll get it out. So let's get it out quick. Anybody could answer. Let's become philosophers real quick. Put on your J. Cole hats, everybody.
J. Cole hats.
It's on.
Hold on, let's listen. Let's listen to Forest Hill Drive real quick.
Do you need motivation to accomplish things?
Yes.
Yeah.
I vehemently disagree. So let's get into it.
So wait. When you say, do you need? Are you talking about from other people?
No, motivation. Do you need to feel motivated in order to accomplish something?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Wait, not in order to accomplish something, but to start something, you need motivation.
Yeah. Okay. I'll agree with that. To begin a habit or to actively partake in a habit, at least for me, I prefer to be motivated. I think I found this group as enough foundation for a motivation. You know, the idea that everyone was going through something together was like, yeah, you know, like I can rally behind that. But at the same time, that just might be being like I'm super guilty of being like, man, I'm gonna do this, and then like never do it because I'm not validated or motivated in it, or I'm not validated in it, so I never feel motivated. But with this, I kind of was. So I don't think I need to. It's just nice to have, man. It makes me feel better.
Okay, let's ask this question then. Y'all, we could ask this two ways. We could say there's people who stop doing habits after a few days, people who do those habits the rest of their lives. Is the difference really motivation? Are they just motivated? The second question is, you really think that I just did the habits all 14 days because I was motivated every day?
No, I agree. I don't think you need motivation to do that. I agree with you.
How about
because,
you
yeah.
motivate nuts, Leo? I'm joking. No.
What?
No, okay. I agree. I don't think you need it.
I think the reason that people fail to do something is because they post that emphasis on this. Because all the people who do fail to achieve things consistently do say they don't have the motivation. All the people that do achieve things, as cliche as it could be, they say just do it. But just do it doesn't mean fire up the willpower to do it. And if you don't feel that, just sit back and wallow in your knowingness that you're not inspired to do something and don't do it. That's not what it means. It means like just do the thing, work it out, accomplish it, proactively find a way to accomplish the thing. And there's a difference between resources and resourcefulness. And you don't need the resource of motivation in order to do something. And you don't need things stacked in your favor in order to do something. And I don't think the difference is resourcefulness. I think it's standards and expectations. Like, I have a standard that I would not go spit on somebody in public. So if I had a standard, then I'm not touching myself for 14 days. That's staying. I also, I have an expectation I'm going to meditate every day. Like, that's it. So it doesn't become I'm gonna meditate every day, but I don't know if I'm a they them today, so I can't do it because I'm questioning. Like, I'm
Man,
going to do
doing
it.
him
I'll
dirty.
question if I'm a they them either. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I feel that. I think that's something. Standard is a really weird word because standard to me almost reminds me of like the word foundation. So it's like what you kind of like build yourself on. Like this is the standard. I shouldn't say standards are what you build yourself on, but like I'm using them as synonyms because for me personally, one thing I actually hope this habit will help me better, and the habits that I'll hopefully that I want to continue to do in the future, that we will do, I want these habits to help me better reach. I've been saying this ever since, honestly, a lot recently, is I feel like I've set myself a moral standard that I've failed to meet. Not that I have to meet it within every aspect, but it's like if I'm nowhere near it, which I feel farther than I am. And so I kind of wanted to test myself, not necessarily within a moral or philosophical realm, but just with habits in general that build me up so I start to be more positive on my own accord than with the need of outside validation. Um, and I do think this helped a lot because I felt a lot of it, although it was motivation because everyone was going through stuff, or like, everyone was working together or working to build themselves. It was also a lot of self motivation. So yeah, like I said, I don't think you need motivation to complete things. It's a nice thing to have, but it's never. I think motivating yourself to start habits or start tasks or start to build these things, yeah, but never to complete because that's just not. I don't know. That's a very weird thing that society has lied to us about, in my opinion. But
the challenge for you seems like you struggle doing it when it's not an extroverted setting. Like we've talked about recording music, and you say like, oh, if I just had like a group and like we were chilling, like it would just be like natural to do it. So I think the problem for you, not exactly, but like two key ones are just like hedonism and then um, introverted work ethic. And then for Max, I think it's like it's hedonism and consumerism.
yeah,
Wait, Toph, like, and well, I mean, all of us are like pretty like into creative stuff. Like, do you guys get that like burst of energy as well? Like, where like you'll have like periods of like nothing, like artist block, and then out of nowhere, suddenly it's like this
Every
beautiful
artist
thing.
here knows I work through that shit. Every
yeah.
artist here
I think
knows I
Alan
have
was
a system
really
through that shit.
that's what
I
this
mean,
habit
that's
was
one thing
really
I struggle
breaking.
with.
This habit was breaking for me when it came to that. Like literally, the fact that I had to write a song a day. That's why I kind of had to do it in different ways. Like because it was just honestly just trying to like fight myself to be creative because I didn't have the passion to be creative. I don't think. So a lot of it was like I wasn't even really writing songs sometimes, or I was, but it was like I was writing lyrics down, but not to a beat or not trying to complete nothing. It was just the idea of like let it flow.
But do you ever use that like flow as like an excuse? Because like I think sometimes I do that
Yeah,
It does.
where I'm like, oh, I want to draw something, but then I'm like, oh, but I don't have this like burst of energy, or I don't have any ideas, so I can't draw anything. Even if it's like, you
I
know,
was gonna say it's
a
the
li-
reason I
yeah,
haven't dropped a song in 2 years. Like, yeah, no, I totally understand.
because like I feel like motivation can like again like this is just me, but it's like I look at the like what I want to achieve as like my motivation. Like it's like that's the thing. Like that's the thing that I actually want, and it doesn't matter. Like you're supposed to just try and get to that goal instead of like focus on like the things that are supposed to be motivating you. Because like there shouldn't really be anything else, I don't think, other than like achieving the thing.
You're results oriented and they're emotion oriented. But it's not really like an achievement that you're results oriented. You were just like naturally like that, like cognitively built like that.
Well, it doesn't make sense for me to like. I mean, I understand like how other things can motivate you along, will give you like a boost, but like I don't know why like achieving the thing shouldn't be like your primary like motivation for
For
creating
Leo
things.
or Toph, creating the song isn't the achievement. The state they access from the song is the achievement.
It sounds
It's why, yeah,
indulgent.
yeah. It's why like me and Alan have talked about it. When I get a really big high
Off the
from
process.
not necessarily off the process of. So I'll tell you what. Even during the process. So one of the last songs I dropped was a song called "Takeover." I'll just real quick because we gotta wrap things up and stuff. But
That's on
I
fire.
I did a song called Takeover, and Takeover was a song that the entire time I was sitting with it, I was like, holy crap, the homie's gonna think this dope. The first thing I did after I finished recording it was went to band practice and I showed my band. Literally off of that was the only reason I was like, I can't wait to release this, was simply because other people validated the art was good. And to be honest, if I didn't have a show upcoming, or if I didn't perceive that other people would like it, I probably would have just like kept it like in my folder. Like I really need other people, and honestly, since then, I haven't really been like writing songs. Like, this is the most I've written, and I have a lot of lyrics now that I'm like, even like a lot of trash lyrics that I'm probably going to delete and stuff because I don't like. I really don't, and so it's like, I really feel like in my creative process, other people are so cognitively involved because their validation is more what I'm seeking. So the state of me being creative and then that being validated by others is enough for me. If I make a track, the first thing I'm like, yo, I gotta show the homies, this is crazy. Instead of me being like, let me hold on to this, keep working on other art. And like, I'm doing it right now. I'm making a mixtape right now. I haven't really told many people that. But honestly, I have 3 songs that I was supposed to write last month that I haven't even written. Some of the lyrics I wrote down, I'll probably use, but a lot of
That
that
reminds me of a guy we know. Leo knows who we're talking about. Oh no, I'm talking about Creek. But let's call it out right now. Hey Creek, where's Peaches, bro?
Where's Peaches, man?
Well,
now Peaches is on me. Well, he finally sent the vocals, so now I have to mix it. But he sent that shit late.
Let's change the question. Why did it take so long for Peaches, Creek?
Yeah, that's the right. Okay. That's the right. Why Creek took like 2 weeks to send the vocals.
Last fucking question, guys. Get personal with it. This is for you. Why? Why do you rationalize doing what you know is not best for you?
It feels really good in the moment, and I don't know, it can just take over. Hula.
It's gotta go to work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think.
It's easier.
It's just easier.
Another analogy I could bring to it is, okay, sometimes I don't like bringing up my faith all the time, but when I first like 2 years ago, 2 years ago I got really indulgent in like Christian apologetics, and I learned so much about God so fast. But I felt like a lot of it was rooted in antagonism, antagonism. But because I learned so much, I kind of resolved most of my issues, and so I just felt stagnant and stopped learning because I got comfortable. And I kind of am still in that space. I feel like I'm still super comfortable with that. But it's like that happened over about a year, and so if that can happen so fast in a year of me just growing stagnant in my own faith, imagine the habits that I've built and I've grown stagnant with in my life. Like, I am comfortable where I'm at, and it's weird. I remember what's so funny about me saying that is one of my favorite, like, it's such a hip hop head moment to me. One of my favorite rap albums is an album called Uncomfortable, which is talking about how thriving in spaces of uncomfort is the best way to change and grow. Like, thriving in a space of uncomfort is the only way to grow. And as conscious of that, I know I don't want to do it. I'm pretty chilling right now.
So Shane just doesn't want to do it. For Leo, it feels more comfortable. What is it for you, Max?
Well, I mean, I have my little crisis. But overall, I think it's like a path of least resistance.
Did it start when you were born, Max?
Yeah.
It all started when I was born.
It was easier to cry in the crib and get the milk than to get out the crib yourself and get it. You know,
walk up like a man and go grab that milk. All right, look, guys, we're gonna get out of here. But Shane, you've been engaged in this episode, and you've been active in conversation. I want you to do me a favor, Shane. Give us a closing statement. Wrap us up. Take us out of here, Shane.
I got you. All right, guys. I'm gonna need you to smash that like button. Nah, for real. Nah, we had our own after the last episode. We had our own little RAS flip and took a little break, but we're back. We're consistent. We're building habits, and we are learning more about ourselves and about our minds. And we're gonna keep moving forward, and just do it like Shia LaBeouf would. So yeah, stay up, y'all. Keep it true. Keep it you. Love you, boo. And we're out.